evening, everyone, and welcome to Saskatoon at Sutherland Automotive Speedway for the RS1 Cup Series debut. Now, the RS1 Cup Series, these cars are all identically prepared, kind of fed, watered, and housed, if you will, under the roof at Avion Motorsports. The difference between first and last tonight will be the driver behind the wheel. So let's get to the track now, shall we? So sit back, relax, grab something cool to drink, Canada. And our friends down south, it's the Twin 100's RS1 Cup Series debut from Saskatoon. We are getting ready to go for the first 100 lap here tonight for the RS1 Series. But if you're on your way, gonna do some holidaying, coming across Canada, you gotta stop here in Saskatchewan. You're right at Saskatoon. You want to come out to this beautiful Sutherland Automotive Speedway.
Yes, the field currently bunching up now into 2x2 formation as we get ready to turn them loose for 100 laps. And Joe, best sight we've seen so far this evening, the lights are out on the Avion Motorsports RS1 Series pace car. Ellie Dunseith and Ken Mostowich on the front row. Jesse Webb, Adam Dowler on row number 2. Your field nice and tightly bunched into 3 and off of 4. The first ever RS1 Series race outside of BC is green off of turn number 4. And into one they go, Joe. Ellie Dunseith with the advantage, but contact in the back a little bit, as we mentioned, Joe, with some of these guys trying to jockey for position on the opening lap.
Absolutely. As they go down into turn 3-4, give the 99 the lead. Ellie goes back a wee bit, and the 96 of Jewel has got engine trouble. He's got lots of smoke coming out the back of that 96 machine.
And we got the 24 spun on the front straightaway. Looks like he kind of lost it by himself coming out of there. Maybe he hit a bit of a wet spot, but looks like he's able to correct that. I don't know if he touched the wall or not.
Doesn't look like any damage there, Todd, to the 24 of Sean McIntosh from Vancouver, but Nick Jewell laying down a huge smoke cloud and killing all the mosquitoes within the vicinity of Sutherland Automotive Speedway in that 96 machine, but a tough break for a guy who had great track position. And Joe, we thought maybe he could work his way up to the front early on in this one.
Ellie back up front, the 94, Jesse Webb to the outside.
Yes, we'll have a tip number 2 at going green in this one here for the first 100 lapper. Ellie Dunseith having a new partner on the outside of the front row. Jesse Webb making his first ever start in an oval. Ken Mostowich in the inside of row number 2. Adam Dowler back in his outside position in the 53. Caution lights are out off of turn number 4. Let's try this one again. Joe, we're back green.
Side by side to the line, and there we go. They pulled the trigger. And the cars are down into turn number 1 and 2.
We got wide on the exit,
3 wide. Yeah, 2 and 3 wide.
Working their way into turns 3 and 4. Ellie Dunseith emerging as your early race leader. Jesse Webb up to second, side by side with Adam Dowler, but Dowler deep on the brakes to the inside. And we saw Heino Siebert trying to take a peek to the inside of Ken Mostowich. And look, Joe, who is already up to 4th, or rather 5th, and hunting for 4th on the outside. That's Cameron Haley in the 16.
Yeah, that Autobox number 16 car is looking real good on the high side of the speedway, as Ellie in the 64 still leads this one. Dowler looking low, pins it right to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll come back to the line with the lead.
New race leader Adam Dowler, and following him into the second position, that is the 16 of Cameron Haley. Jesse Webb up to 3rd. Dunseith starting to fall back now as Trevor Siebert is already up into the 4th spot. 3 wide almost behind them as Dunseith continuing to get shoveled out. Billy Coles in the black number 67 is slowing and pulling into the pit, so problems for Billy Coles in the 67 as Adam Dowler leads, but he has Cameron Haley closing in rapid fashion right behind him in the 16, Joe.
Yep, the 35 of Dowler out front as they're closing in, and Cameron Haley now up into that second slot. As they get work their way through turns 3-4, we are working lap 5 and now 6 as they put the 17 car of Tracy Siebert down the lap.
Todd, I think you got a glimpse at Billy Coles as he pulled into the pits and then pulled out again.
I don't know if I could see him. It looks like he just pulled through the staging lane, and I believe he's back out as we're coming out of corner number 4, 3 wide again.
A lot of different stuff going on back in the pack as some of these cars start making their way to the tail. Adam Dowler, your race leader, already having to deal with lap traffic, and these top 3 guys are pulling away from the rest of the pack. Trevor Siebert has worked his way up into the 4th spot as Adam Dowler continuing to lead. And Joe, how about Jesse Webb getting up on the wheel and staying with the former NASCAR Truck Series driver in the number 94?
Absolutely. In pre-race, speaking with Jesse Webb in the 94 car, he said, I don't have any experience on an oval track, but he is a quick study. And he couldn't find a better car to be behind and learn his way around an oval than to be behind a guy that raced in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Cameron Haley in the 16 is putting the 94 to school right now, Cole.
And we're seeing the big speed advantage or rather the big difference in speed that some of these lead cars have over the cars that they are putting a lap down, as Adam Dowler right down to the inside of Ellie Dunseith, who early on in this race was leading, and she has faded to the back of the pack as your top 3 continuing to pull away. Trevor Siebert has found his way up into the 4th spot. He's got Heino Siebert and the Siebert family feud back behind them in the 10 car. It looks like Kane Fraser is pulling in the MNP number 89 into the pits, as Adam Dowler continuing to lead in the number 53 car. And Joe, Adam is a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of racing experience either. Well, racing in full-size cars. He's got quite a lot of experience representing Canada internationally in go-kart racing, but he has got pressure coming on both sides. It's Jesse Webb now. He's going to go to the outside of Cameron Haley for second.
Yeah, going on the big side, as they say, and the 94 car. He's a quick study, Todd, by the look of it, side by side for that second spot.
Yes, as Jesse Webb, the number 94 machine, back around the outside of Cameron Haley. Jason White is working his way up inside of the top 5 to the outside of Heino Siebert. In the 10 car is the 33 working his way from the tail, and will now try and put pressure on the 69 of Trevor Siebert. But out in front, top 3 throw him under a blanket as they come off at turn number 4, Joe, here for lap 17.
17 complete, and the 53 coming under fire now. The 16 of Cameron Haley was thinking about taking a trip up the inside, and then he thought better of it. They're rolling up on a couple of cars that could go a lap down here. The 53 gonna get trapped in behind the lap car, 16 to the high side, and same with Jesse Webb, the 53. Wrong place, wrong time. New leader, the 16 of Cameron Haley from Calgary, goes to the lead on lap number 18.
Todd, you're down pit side and can get a look at Billy Coles.
I actually just talked to Nick Jewell, and he says what happened with the 96 car is he lost his power steering hose on it, so he really had no steering coming out of 4. But he says the saving grace is he's going to have really good tires for the second 100 lap session tonight. So that's the Nick Jewell story in 96.
Well, Nick's going to be, have to work from the back and use up those fresh tires here, as he will have the freshest set of tires out of anybody. As looks like sprinkles starting again. We can see some umbrellas here at the racetrack going up in the stands and waiting on the yellow flag. We can definitely see some heavier precipitation starting to fall now as the yellow flags fly once again, as another shower hits Sutherland Automotive Speedway. And Joe, the weather we have been dodging all night looks like it bites us again 20 laps into the first Twin 100.
Incredible, to say the least. Things just shaping up here. 20 laps complete of 100, the first 100 of the day. As the lights go out atop of the Avion Motorsports pace car, the lights are out. The field is doubled up, 20 laps complete, and it's almost go time here. Cole, it's just about time to pull the trigger.
Here they come off of turn number 4, and after a long delay, we are back racing with the RS1 series, and Cameron Haley with the jump on the start. Jesse Webb backing up the outside lane. in the number 94 machine as Haley showing his experience on that restart and Webb showing his inexperience, a little bit timid still on these restarts in the 94 car. And Adam Dowler has come up to the second spot. Heino Siebert up to the third position. And look at who capitalized on that restart. Riley Siebert. Joe is already up into the fourth spot, but you can see on those cold tires still struggling with grip in the rear.
Oh yeah, you want to make sure that you get heat in these Goodyears or they will break free right away. And Dave, on the high side of the racetrack, I'd say 2, maybe 3 lanes towards the bottom, but don't get real high on this speedway right now.
No, you're absolutely right. You want to stay down in one of those 2 lower grooves, and it looks like they drive nicely from my vantage point. So yeah, I'm with you. Stay low if you can.
Dowler has 2 Siebert family members right behind him. Heino in the 10 car putting the pressure on him, but Dowler not buckling. The driver is still new to running full-size stock cars, has been running the Westco late model series in BC, getting experience, ran the Western Rattler 300 in his number 53 late model, and still holding on to that second spot as Cameron Haley is trying to pull away.
We had a spinner down in turn number 3-4. That was the 33 of Jason White. He kept his foot in it, but collected the 94. And it looks like, is that the 0-1, Dave?
Yes, it's the 0-1. Yes.
Jack Herniak in the look-alike General Lee Challenger, unfortunately having to get on the binders. Jesse Webb, the 94 car, who was having a strong run early on, having to avoid that incident as Jason White spinning in the 33 machine, and Webb has come to a stop near the outside wall, rolling back now, trying to get that car in gear. He will do so, and doesn't look like there is too much damage to the 94 car, fortunately. So it looks like no harm, no foul for all 3 of those drivers involved.
Cameron Haley, Dave, looked really, really good off the start of this one. For the first 4 laps of the, well, up to 24 laps, he's looking really good.
Yeah, and very comfortable, right? Having done this for a while, it's like, I guess maybe riding a bike, you don't fall off, you just get right back on. And I'm going to be curious about that 94 car that was involved in that. If you look on the inside front tire, it looks like it was maybe having some handling issues. We'll see on the restart. Probably get a better look there.
Here they come off of corner number 4 as they are going to go back to the green. We'll see what Cameron Haley can do. Not getting quite as big of a jump as Adam Dowler sticks right with him in the 53 in the first 3 rows. They are side by side. Dowler backing up the field, and his brother's going to run in the back of Riley Siebert and push in the left rear quarter panel as Heino Siebert gets to the inside of Adam Dowler, and Haley Joe will once again emerge cleanly out in front.
Yes, Cameron Haley leads the field down the back stretch. 25 laps complete. We're coming back to lap 26 as the field is stacking up in behind him there, Todd. Quite a race.
Yeah, no, these guys are stacking up nicely here. I'm looking at this side-by-side racing out here. I'd say that track is definitely in prime racing condition right now.
How about Jamie Krizik? The 66 car is woken up a little bit as he is up into the 3rd spot behind Heino Siebert in the 10 car. And Joe, your pick, Sean McIntosh, back from the back and up to the 4th position as Riley Siebert, after that contact, looks like he's kind of dropping back a little bit in the 09.
Your front 5 are nose to tail, but there won't be like that for long. This is a momentum sort of car. You got to keep the momentum up. You're going to see some more passing guaranteed as they come back to the line to complete lap 29.
And the 16 of Cameron Haley, you saw him gap the field on that last restart by about a full straightaway over Adam Dowler, but he has Heino right behind him, Jamie Krizik, Sean McIntosh, now Jason White looking to the outside of the 24 car, but Riley Siebert has got back in line and has got his momentum back up and running as McIntosh and Krizik continuing to battle for that 3rd spot. Great racing all over Sutherland Automotive Speedway.
And here comes the 33 of Jason White to the high side of the 09 of Riley Siebert. They're battling for that 5th spot, guys. And the 16 of Cameron Haley leading lap 32. Back to the 10, 66 to 24, and then side by side.
The 09 of Siebert trying to get around the 33 of White, and here comes Krizik now to the inside of Heino Siebert Siebert will close the door, though, in the 10 car and get right back into line. And now Cameron Haley is loving the battles going on behind him because he will be able to pull out a little bit of an advantage, but is closing up on some of that lap traffic. Some of the Challenge Series drivers here, more of the inexperienced competitors who are getting around this oval, getting critical laps under their belts, but about to go a lap down once again at the hands of Cameron Haley, as Haley is going to get held up just a little bit. No, he's going to make her 3 wide through the middle of the lap traffic, so no problems there for Haley, Joe, and he's not going to get held up at all.
No, that's called threading the needle, and Cameron Haley's used to doing that. The 10 of I know is doing a great job in that second spot. Back to Krizik in the 66, 24 of Sean McIntosh. Back to the 09 of Riley Siebert. And, oh, what do you say we add a Dowler in the mix there? The 35 car of Noel Dowler coming to life.
Noel Dowler, we've been talking about his brother Adam. Now it's Noel's time to shine as he has worked his way inside of the top 10. And Heino Siebert putting the pressure on Cameron Haley. Haley going to the outside, trying to go to the outside of Ken Mostowich, and will once again thread the needle. Elisa Alexis on the extreme outside of the racetrack. Haley gets through. Now we'll see how the rest of the field files between them. And right when Heino in the 10 car gets right behind him, is Heino a little bit of a bobble off of 2, Joe. It seems like Haley will catch the lap traffic and pull out a few car lengths using that experience that he has getting through the lappers.
Well, you gotta really plan your steps in the RS1 Tour. You got a good mixture of crafty veterans, some new drivers in the field, and there is cars dropping a lap here fairly quick. You gotta plan your move. If you go to make it too early, you could get stung.
And just as we were talking about Noel Dowler, he has managed to get around Jason White in the 33 car and will try and rapidly close into the 09 of Riley Siebert as the 16 of Cameron Haley continuing to lead. And now he's got a bit of an advantage where Ingo Siebert, or rather Heino Siebert, was right behind him, and now there is about 5 or 6 car lengths between the 10 car and the 16, your race leader, and Jamie Krizik putting the pressure on the 66 for second.
Dave, you've been watching that 94 car. Looks like he's laying down good laps and looking up the inside of Trevor now, back in about, I don't know, the 10th, 12th spot. And it looks like the 94 is doing okay.
Yeah, you're right. Jesse Webb is handling it nicely. Running lap times just above 16 seconds. So, again, a little bit off the pace, but the concern that maybe I thought he might have with that tire doesn't seem to be a factor at all. And, again, laying down some good lap times.
And as Jesse gets more and more laps around here, he'll get more and more confident. As looking at your race leaders heading down the back straight again is the 16 of Cameron Haley continuing to lead the way. He's coming up on Tracy Siebert to put her a lap down. Tracy's husband, Heino. Oh, and Siebert gets into your race leader going into turn number 1. The lapper spins the 16 car to bring the yellow flag out, as Cameron Haley, who was running away with it, going to the outside of Tracy Siebert. Siebert getting into Haley's left rear, and see the quarter panel is pushed in on the 16 car, so some damage there for the 16 of Haley, as the 17 of Siebert getting into her, and that rather into him, is a tough break for Tracy and Cameron in that situation. And we'll have to see if Haley will go to the tail here for bringing out that yellow flag, as his race has just taken a turn, and that could hand things over to Heino Siebert in the 10 car, who's been running in second, as the yellow flag flies here on lap number 44 of this one. Jamie Krizik in the outside of the front row, the 66 for TD Wealth, will be side by side with Heino Siebert for this restart. Sean McIntosh in the inside of row number 2 at the 09 of Riley Siebert, picking up another spot as a result of Haley's troubles, as they work their way into corner number 3 off of 4, getting ready for a restart. We'll see what Heino Siebert can do from the pole as they come off at turn number 4. We're green once more, and Siebert with the jump as the 66 of Krizik tries to tuck in line, but he has Sean McIntosh right behind him, and McIntosh to the inside of Siebert for the race lead. through 3 and off of 4 side by side. Heino Siebert on the outside, McIntosh on the inside. Dowler thinking about making it 3 wide. He will make it 3 wide, forcing the issue. The 35 up the inside, roughs up the 24 of Sean McIntosh, and Riley Siebert, the 09, goes up to 3rd. Dowler leads in the 35. What a move on the restart from Noel Dowler, and Sean McIntosh is not going to be the happiest man in Saskatoon in the 24 car as he tries to track down the 09 Riley Siebert, who's now up into the 2nd spot, as Sean McIntosh, for a brief, glorious second, was your race leader, but Noel Dowler, making it 3 wide into turn number 1, is now out in front.
Just 3 laps now, 2 laps away from halfway in the first 100. Dowler out front. Here comes Riley Siebert in quick tow, the 24 of Sean McIntosh, and he just blows by the 09, heading into turns 3-4 for that 2nd spot.
Siebert's car actually slipped up a little bit there as Riley's going to the inside of the racetrack. Maybe some problems there for Riley Siebert from that earlier contact, and Siebert is off the pace, pulling to the inside, and he is in the pits. So another wrench in the plans for the Siebert family as Riley Siebert, problems in the 09, into the pit area and behind the pit wall.
Stay on that chair.
I can barely hang on the excitement here, Joe.
Halfway is complete in this race. The 09 of Riley Siebert on pit road. I don't know what they're doing. They're looking. He's being held with the 35 car. Noel Dowler out front of this one. He's got a lead of about, what do you say, Cole? Maybe 8 cars?
8 cars, just under a straightaway advantage, but the man behind him is the guy he rooted out of the way for the race lead, and that is the 24 of Sean McIntosh. And McIntosh is on the hunt, trying to track him back down to catch up with him, as the 66 Jamie Krizik is slotted into the 3rd spot. Heino Siebert side by side with Jason White for the 5th position. White on the outside, and Cameron Haley already to the inside of the 16 of Jesse Webb for what I believe is the 7th or 8th position. So already Haley cracking the top 10, and will try and crack the top 5 here in just a handful of laps.
Amazing racing here in the RS1 Cup Series. This is for Super Seal points. Both these 100-lap races will count for championship points. So you want to get as many points as you can. And we look at lap 55.
Yes, just past the halfway point in this first twin 100-lap affair, as looks like some fuel going into the 09 of Riley Siebert, but wouldn't know why they are putting in some fuel there in the pits. Maybe Todd can get a look there and see what's going on. Todd, did you get a chance to talk with anybody about Riley Siebert's car?
Riley didn't know what was going on at all. I asked him what's up. He wasn't quite sure. So yeah, it looks like they're fueling it up, and I don't know if that's going to be the issue or not. So
yeah, it could be maybe one of the fuel starvation problems or something with the carb or something that maybe these cars have been experiencing a little bit, Joe, but hard to say. Definitely a very weird drama down there in the pits for Riley Siebert.
The man still on the move. Cameron Haley just got by the 33 of Jason White's got his eyes focused in on the 10 now. As we look up front, 59 complete. Noel Dowler in the 35 car crosses the line now for lap 60, 40 to go in this one.
And remember how we said that Noel is about 8 car lengths ahead? Well, that gap is decidedly closer at the moment, as Sean McIntosh has got it down to about 2 car lengths, and that's what happens if you drive angry a little bit, or Sean is definitely working to reel in Dowler, and Dowler's struggling a little bit coming off at 2. McIntosh really arcing out that 24 car towards the outside wall, carrying a lot of momentum around here, as Dowler will have to contest with him in a few laps as he comes up on Ken Mostowich to put him a lap down. And now McIntosh is going to be right on him, Joe, as they go into 3, and they could be side by side, but McIntosh checks out of it at the last second.
Absolutely. Sean's got to pick his spot right now to do his passing. Dowler on the high side as they roll up on the 99 car. These 2 cars decidedly quicker than the 2 cars that are ahead of them. The 35 on the high side of the speedway comes back to complete lap 64. The 24 car now right on his rear deck lid. He could reach out and touch the spoiler right now.
And Sean McIntosh with only, I believe, three or two oval racing starts, and showing why that he was competing with some of the guys that made it all the way up into Formula One, has been up on the wheel in this 24 car. Noel Dowler still hanging on at the front, managed to pad his lead working through lap traffic. Jay Logie and Ken Mostowich as they head off of turn number 4 down the front chute through 1 and 2 now. Noel Dowler still hanging on, but Sean McIntosh is right with him if Dowler slips up at all. And now Dowler, when McIntosh got to the inside of him, knows he is there. And Joe Riley Siebert back out on the racetrack, but he is several laps down. That's going to hurt him in the RS1 Point Series standings for this first Twin 100.
It sure is. You don't want to do that, but you got to know that Riley will be bouncing back in race number 2. He's got a real strong Super Seal 09 on the racetrack tonight. For those at home, the 35 car, of course, Dowler's famous for the Fords. The Ford Mustang out front right now with a Chevrolet right behind with Sean McIntosh.
Working their way off at turn number 2 now, and looks like McIntosh is almost cooled up. Maybe he hit that 50 lap mark where the Goodyears didn't start feeling so good in that 24, as he's had to come from the back of the pack after an earlier spin to the front and then had to charge hard to catch up with the 35 of Noel Dowler. So Dowler now starting to pull out a bit more of an advantage, and Dowler, the more experienced driver with these heavy stock cars and trying to keep the tires underneath of them for sure.
Well, Dowler, guys, was at one point a second and a half ahead of McIntosh and was down to 0.2 of a second, and now it's ballooned back to 0.7 of a second.
How much you want to bet, guys? The number 24 car playing a little cagey right now, trying to let those Goodyears cool off on the right side, and he will mount a charge as we have, 72 in the books. Just about a Saturday night feature to finish this 100-lap race on.
And Dowler got held up a little bit by Trevor Siebert in the 69 as Dowler tried to put him a lap down, and now McIntosh has erased that 0.7 of an advantage, in the 24 car. But as soon as Dowler gets clear of lap traffic, looks like he has a little bit better race car in that 35 than McIntosh. McIntosh trying to chase it a little bit, but they have pulled away almost a half-track advantage over the third-place running Jamie Krizik in the 66 machine, Joe.
He sure does. 74 complete, coming back to the line. The 35 Ford Mustang, Noel Dowler out front of this one. Todd, you can see the oval track experience at the front of the field.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the front of the field here, and I see we got a caution coming out.
As we are coming back to the green flag here, don't want you to miss a thing live on Racetime Radio. The pace car hits pit road, and the green flag is back out. Lap 74 is complete. Dowler and the 24 McIntosh nose to tail down the back stretch, and they're looking good. They're looking comfortable right now. Coming back to complete lap 75 here tonight. Dave, this one's heating up to be a barn burner.
Absolutely it is. As McIntosh, you called it. Watch out for this driver. He's been on the tail of Dowler, and did he hold off to keep the tires cool? Because we're down to almost a sprint to the finish.
Absolutely. Side-by-side action back in the 06-7 spot as the 94 of Jesse Webb gets to the high side of Mark McIntosh. But up front, the 35 of Noel Dowler completes lap 77. He's got a great Ford underneath him. And the 24 car, Todd, looks like is fading back a wee bit.
Yeah, it does, and it's, one guy that I noticed out there, look who started at the back of this one and is able to put his car back in the 4th place, the number 16 of Cameron Haley.
Cameron is back up through the pack. I thought I saw a little bit of a puff of smoke coming out of the 10 of Heino Siebert when he went through turn number 2. It'll be interesting to see if that was maybe a little bit of a lockup or the car bottoming out or something.
Seen it down in 3-4 as well. Could be when he gets back on the throttle. It's just doing a little bit of popping. The engine could be heating up on that car. We'll have to keep an eye on that 10 car. With only 20 circuits left to go, the 35 car, Noel Dowler, set sail at the front of this one. 24 of McIntosh, back to Krizik in the 66. Cameron Haley in the 16 car is in your 4th spot, and the Tennessee Bird is back in your 5th spot. That sets your top 5. As, that smoke keeps coming out, Cole, like you say. The 10 car, little puff.
It comes out of the side exit exhaust, and it's right where you get back into the throttle. So they'll have to look at that in between these 200 lappers. Noel Dowler having no problems in this one so far after hijacking the lead on the restart. The 66 of Jamie Krizik was putting the pressure on Sean McIntosh. McIntosh now able to build a little bit of a gap and maybe trying to mount a late race charge here on Noel Dowler in that 35 car as we're inside of 20 laps to go. Mark McIntosh, the 3rd member of the McIntosh family, is getting to the inside of Heino Siebert, and Siebert's car's got smoke coming out from underneath the fender wells and out of the side exhaust now, and he is pulling up high on the racetrack, and lots of smoke pouring out from underneath the hood of the 10 car as the caution flag will wave on lap number 83. And Joe, that was an engine problem.
I do believe you are correct. Could be a line, just like what happened with
96, Nick Jewell.
the 96. Yeah, well, it's
That looks a little more smoke than what a power steering line might be, though, on that car. Unfortunately, that number 10 car.
I would have a tendency to have maybe a fire extinguisher handy, but looks like the smoke is under control now.
Yeah, Heino, I think he's flicked the engine off, and the 10 car is now going to coast to a stop. But a tough break for Heino, who was one of the original competitors in the RS1 series in the 10 car, but it will come to a smoldering stop on pit road as caution coming out here on lap number 83, and Sean McIntosh will have another shot at getting at Noel Dowler here on this restart. As a 35, Noel Dowler will lead them back coming off of corner number 4, really waiting to jump on the green, and we're racing once again. Sean McIntosh staying right with him, though, on the outside. He'll tuck back into line. Ooh, Mark McIntosh, Adam Dowler making contact. Mark getting through the grass. That's not going to be fun with a little bit of water on the tires, but Cameron Haley is coming around the outside of Jamie Krizik for 3rd, and he could play a factor in this one still.
84 laps complete, and look at this. Cameron Haley to the high side of the 66 car. The 66, Jamie's got a slight advantage on the low side of the racetrack. Cameron now having a look low on the 66 to see if he can make some room down there. No dice, says the 66. He'll keep that TD wealth management machine straight to the front. The 35 of Noel Dowler out front, 86 complete.
And you have to wonder if some of that rain might have washed away some of the rubber on the outside of the racetrack that we saw being laid down since the start, because Sutherland Automotive Speedway looking, weirdly enough, like a single groove racetrack right on the bottom with some of these guys, as Haley tried to go to the outside and then had to tuck in behind Krizik. But up front, Sean McIntosh is sticking right with race leader Noel Dowler in the 35. The gap is about 2 car lengths as we come up on the 10 to go point. 12 laps remaining at the start-finish line.
As the 24 of McIntosh back in the 2nd spot now, Dave, he is starting to reel the 35 in. At least it looks that way.
And getting quicker, you're right. Best lap time for Sean McIntosh was on lap number 83. So yes, he continues to put more pressure on Noel Dowler right in front.
Logie around in the 19 car. He gets it righted and will rejoin the field here as we do have caution on lap 87.
Avion Motorsports pace car is into the pits. And Noel Dowler, who brought the field down at a slow pace this time, also a little bit quicker through 3 and 4, getting on the binders a little bit. And we are back racing. Sean McIntosh again sticking right with the 35. McIntosh trying to get to the inside. Krizik, though, is going to get into the left rear of McIntosh just a little bit. McIntosh tried to clear the 66, couldn't quite do it, and that is going to affect him. And those two drivers will be side by side, and Noel Dowler will love this as he will get the chance to pull away from the battle for the 2nd spot.
Absolutely. He'll be looking in the mirror saying, go at it, boys. Stay side by side all you like. I don't mind being out front of this one. as he comes back to the line. Lap 89 complete. Side-by-side battle for that second spot.
Krizik's car, though, doesn't look like it likes being pinched down to the inside. You can, well, if you're at the racetrack, you can see it wagging the tail here. We'll describe it for you on Race Time Radio as the back end's kind of stepping out a little bit. But McIntosh's car really doesn't like that outside lane. Krizik's actually going to get the spot as McIntosh has some tuck-in line behind him with the 16 of Cameron Haley right behind the 24 car as Noel Dowler extending his advantage now with 9 laps remaining at the start-finish line.
And the duel for that second spot. They settle it. They fan and go nose to tail. Cameron Haley and the 24 car back in that third and fourth spot. Easy for me to say. Looking good, but they look content right now.
They are, and they've kind of strung in line here as Jamie Krizik will see if he has anything for the 35 of Noel Dowler as Krizik is starting to pull away a little bit from Sean McIntosh. McIntosh now falling into the clutches of Cameron Haley in the 16 machine as they head down the back straight. So the 35 car of Noel Dowler clear sailing with 93 laps down, 94 at the line, 6 laps remaining at the start-finish line for the 35 of Noel Dowler, looking for his first RS1 Series win of the season in that 35 car and at a racetrack, Joe, where he has quite a lot of experience in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Well, he's doing a great job out there. Looks like a crafty veteran. And he's got a little bit of damage on the front end of that number 35 Ford Mustang, but you never know it. It's performing just like you want it to. Maybe, just maybe, it's in the right spot and jamming some air.
Yes, just 4 laps. Sometimes when you get that incident where it pushes the nose in, it does what you says. It actually makes the car a little bit better. 4 laps to go for Noel Dowler as he closes in on Jay Logie in the 19 car to put him a lap down. Jamie Krizik is unable to breach that gap as they come off of corner number 4, lap 97. 3 laps to go, Joe. And as long as Dowler gets by this lap car, it looks like it should be clear sailing from then on out.
Yeah, should be clean and green for the 35. He doesn't want to see no yellow flag, I can guarantee you that. With just 2 circuits left to go. Down into turn number 1 and 2. The 35 pins it to the bottom. He's still got tons of traction. Car's looking real good as he works his way through 3-4. Back to the line. 1 to go in race number 1, Colt.
Down the back chute for the final time. No challenge from Krizik. Into 3. Noel Dowler looking good. And off at turn number 4, the checkered flag's out for the first Twin 100 winner. Noel Dowler comes across the line as the winner in the 35. Krizik in second in the 66. McIntosh third. Cameron Haley charges back up into the 4th spot. How about Jesse Webb, the 94 car, rounding out your top 5?
So that's how they finish up race number 1. What will we see in race number 2? It'll be interesting to see as things unfold here. We're going to get a word with the number 35 of Noel Dowler down there in Victory Lane.
Now, Noel, I know you've run this track out here before, I believe in the Pinty Series, something like that. You have some serious competition out here with these guys, and man, oh man, oh man, what a show you guys put on. Like 3 wide racing out there. Wow.
Yeah, it was a great race. Like you said, the competitors are amazing here. It was a great race. The car was good, just like every other car. That's what makes it such great racing. And I'd like to thank all the fans for coming out and sticking out the weather.
Well, again, congratulations on that win, Noel. Like I say, that was a well-earned win.
Most important thing, the big check down there.
Yeah, takes the big dough. How about that? If you have not seen the Rattler 300, you got to keep it tuned to Rev TV Canada and wait for it to come up. It'll be under the All North production. And trust me when I say you want to watch that race. What a show.
It was a great race. Great job by, of course, Ken and everybody on the TV side of things to produce that broadcast as your RS1 Series field is making its way back out onto the speedway for the second Twin 100. Guess what? Pace car is rolling off.
Ooh.
We got racing on track here about to kick off And unlike the last time, every single square inch, almost every single square inch of this facility is dry except for the pits. So a little bit more exploring with the lanes maybe here in the second Twin 100. The 35, Noel Dowler, will lead the field to the green. Noel scrubbing the tires in, trying to get some heat in them. Jamie Krizik, the outside of the front row. Jamie with a Pinty Series start, multiple Pinty Series starts out here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Joe, they are getting ready to drop the hammer.
The field enters turn 3, 4. Krizik and Dowler side by side. Starter has got the green flag in hand, and it waves, and here we go. Second 100 underway.
And Dowler with the jump on the start. Krizik kind of bottlenecking up that outside lane as the 16 Cameron Haley getting to the inside of the 66 of Krizik, but Krizik now back to the outside of Sean McIntosh. Jesse Webb up on the wheel in the 94 car as well, holding on to the 5th spot. That's the 66 of Krizik and the 24 of McIntosh. Still side by side for second. Dowler trying to run away with the race lead, and Cameron Haley hanging right back behind McIntosh in the number 16 machine. Trevor Siebert taking a peek to the inside of Jason White just outside of the top 5 in the number 69 car. And Trevor, who had a off song race 1, trying to make up for it here in race number 2.
Yeah, Noel Dowler picking up exactly where he left off. It doesn't look like he took a break at all. That 35 car is out to at least a 7-8 car lead over the 66. The 24 car of Sean McIntosh is getting hounded right now by the 16 of Cameron Haley in that 4th spot.
And you have to think, oh, we got a spin and contact in turn number, and another car comes piling into it just at the tail end. That was Kane Fraser, but Ken Mostowich in the 99 spun out. Elisa Alexis in the 12 car tried checking up, got into the front of Mostowich, and then Kane Fraser came around turn number 3 with nowhere to go, got the thing sideways, had it locked up, couldn't get that thing wound down in time, and rips the right rear quarter panel completely off of the NMP, or rather the MNP number 89.
We are back with you live tonight on Race Time Radio as the pace car heads for the safety of pit road, and the field is doubled up coming through turns 3, 4. Green flag is back out, and we are back to it with 3 laps complete here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway in Saskatoon, the RS1 series. Race number 2, the second 100 lap is on the track, and we have a spin down in turn 3, 4 as the 64 car goes for a twirl, and the caution flag is back out. And the 64 will get back underway, I do believe. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll have to see whether the candles will light up in that one, Dave, and we'll see if the 64 can rejoin the field.
Well, Billy Cole's trying the best that he can, and yeah, we got some movement there, but didn't touch anybody or anything by my eye going into 3 and 4. Just got on the accelerator a little too quick, and in doing so, maybe those cool, or maybe the tires went ahead and got out underneath the car and got it spun around and caused the caution.
Now, I'm not sure about this, but I do believe the 33 car of Jason White happened to make a little bit of contact with the 64 car. I just caught the tail end of it, but it kind of makes sense because the two of them are coming right back into the pits.
Cleanup has been completed. I do believe both Jason White and Billy Coles are back out onto the racetrack after some repairs to both of those race cars. As the Avion Motorsports pace car will pull into the pit area, we'll see if Noel Dowler can pull off one of those patented restarts that he has been oh so good at this evening in the 35 as they slow up for the restart zone coming out of turn number 4. We're green once again, Joe.
97 more circuits around this speedway until you can claim victory, but the 35 of Noel Dowler is looking real strong at the beginning of this one. A side-by-side battle with Jamie Krizik and the 24 of Sean McIntosh. Those guys are going to break up the duel for that second spot as Cameron Haley just reeled the front 2 right in. Dave, I don't think what do we got? We got the 89 had done a little twirl down at the far end. we're going to stay on lap 3 for another couple times.
As the lights go out on the pace car and your field will bunch up once more. Jamie Krizik was sailing with Noel Dowler there on that about half a lap or 1 lap that we got under green the last time. We'll see if he can do so in the 66 and slot into second as they come off of turn number 4. Let's wind them up once more. 3 laps completed. Green flags back out as your field sorts its way into turns 1 and 2 and working through that speedy dry, that outside lane, having to do that, see if it affects traction at all as they work their way into the inside of 1 and 2. Krizik still working the outside of McIntosh, and Noel Dowler running away with things in the 35 so far. Joe with a comfortable lead.
4 laps complete. There you go. Now we're starting to log some laps as the field flashes down the backstretch. The 35 Ford Mustang of Noel Dowler in a commanding lead right now. The 66 of Krizik in the second spot. 24 of Sean McIntosh is running a comfortable third right now. Cameron Haley and Jesse Webb round out your top 5 as they head down into turn 1 and 2. On the exit, man, that 35 car not skipping a beat, Cole.
It is not, but Krizik's kind of reeling him in or sticking with them as Riley Siebert is going to the outside of his dad, Trevor. As your field works its way into 1 and 2, now Riley still hunting the outside of the number 69 in the battle for the 6th spot. We'll see if Siebert can get around Siebert in the Siebert family feud.
It's a family affair, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it is. Siebert versus Siebert, and who gets to have the better ride home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you want to make sure dear old dad is having a good time. Trevor threw the kitchen sink at that 69 car. I get a feeling that he threw the right kitchen sink at it because that car's looking pretty sporty.
They did, and they actually had to pull a carburetor, I think Trevor might have mentioned it, off of one of their show cars that's in the concourse here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Of course, the show cars are ready to go. They're just cars that aren't in competition this weekend. But when they were having problems with the carb in practice, Trevor was like, hey, I know exactly where you can pull one and where you can find one. And the crew went to work, and looks like the 69 car is running strong, but he's got Riley around him, and into 6th, Trevor back to 7th.
Now, obviously, they didn't tell you. They didn't get that carburetor off that show car. That came off your rental. And it's working pretty good.
You know, coming off of that RVR Mitsubishi, man, that didn't think that would mesh well with the 604 crate, but apparently it does.
Well, it's working. What do you think, Dave? 12 laps in the books, and it looks like Dowler's just got that thing switched to glide, but he's going to have to giddy up. He's got a bunch coming at him.
Well, we've seen this before at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. When you get into the longer races, right, it all comes down to car management. You've got to go ahead and preserve your tires as best you can, but you obviously can't let a guy like Noel Dowler get away too far, because you just never know how many laps of green flag racing you're going to get, and if he gets too far away, you may never catch him. So this comes down to the mental part of racing as far as I'm concerned, again, with still, 85 laps to go.
Yeah, strategy going to come into play, Cole. And you got to know that the spotters will be busy on that horn right now, telling Noel he's got lots of clear track. He hasn't got another car in sight. They're coming off turn number 2. The next car that they're going to have to encounter is the 01. And Hryniak's flying on the track. He's a half a track away.
Those top 3 cars actually pulling away from 4th place Cameron Haley in the 16 machine, as Noel Dowler has been kind of moving the car up just a tiny bit as some of that speedy dry in 1 and 2 has dissipated, obviously, as the cars run over it and kind of rub it into the racetrack where that power steering is, as Noel Dowler trying to stretch his advantage over Hryniak, or rather Krizik, in the number 66, trying to track down Hryniak, who will be the next car to go a lap down in the 01 machine. As they come down the front straight, 35 of Dowler continuing to lead, and now he is pulling out a bit of an advantage over the 66 of Krizik, who closed in on him during lap traffic, but Dowler's car looks like stronger in clean air for the 35.
Todd, hate to tell you, but the car you picked, he's coming up the back pit there, bud.
Yeah, I just cursed by doing a pick there, so. You want to curse, just let me pick them.
As we have lap 20 complete now, 21 at the line. You've got the 35 of Noel Dowler commanding lead. Sounds somewhat like a broken record, but kudos to him. He is running the wheels off that Ford Mustang. The 24 of McIntosh, he's starting to pull him back in. He did get by the 66.
And it looked like McIntosh was just biding his time with the 66, and as soon as he got past, he's pulled out a 5-6 car length advantage, and he has closed the gap to Dowler to less than 2 car lengths. So your third place finisher had some gas in the tank for the 24, and he is tracking down Noel Dowler here on lap number 23. Coming up on lap number 24, and we'll see if car number 24 can put the pressure on Dowler here as they work their way into 1 and 2. And Sean McIntosh is reeling him in as they head down the back straight. The 24 car is running strong, Joe.
He may have to give him a little shot in the shorts, just like he did right there, and move the 35 just a little wee bit. Not enough to knock Dowler right out of commission, but it definitely gave him a little chrome horn there and said, hey, bud, don't forget I'm here. So he's going to have to pick up the pace as we complete lap 26 here tonight in the second 100. All presented by Avion Motorsports. You want to check these RS1 cars out. These guys are having a gas here tonight.
And of course, you don't want to forget that this is the second Twin 100. Nobody reserving anything in the tank here. No more races to run after this one this evening. So Sean McIntosh has turned up the wick, and Noel Dowler has turned it up as well to match him. But McIntosh shadowing the 35, and he's going to be right on his back bumper. Here comes the 24 for the lead off at turn number 2, down the back straight into 3. Drag racing on the brakes as they come off at turn number 4. McIntosh on the inside, Dowler on the outside. The 24 car for Kermack Collision gets out in front. Dowler slots in line behind him to try and track him back down, and McIntosh will try and gap the 35 car before they reach the lap traffic of Jack Herniak, and we'll see how the 24 of McIntosh deals with the lapper if he can get clearly by him. As Dowler now back to second, and McIntosh is pulling away, Joe. Look at how quick that 24 car is running.
That's right, he is. He's driving a great race. Coming up on Herniak here in the 01 car. Gonna slip up the inside. Noel Dowler's going to be hoping that he can find a path through as well. The 24 car, I don't know, I haven't got a monitor in front of me. Dave, I know you do. Has he picked it up, or has the 35 slowed down the tick?
No, definitely McIntosh is getting quicker, just like he did in the first 100. Remember, he had his best lap time, lap 83. He is continuing to improve. His best lap time was actually about 6 laps ago, but he's running about 0.3 of a second faster per lap than Noel Dowler right now. So definitely McIntosh is getting quicker. Dowler ever so slightly falling off his previous pace, but McIntosh full marks right now for having and saving his car enough to go ahead and get to the front.
34 laps complete, Todd. A torrid pace now. We're getting some long green flag running, bud.
Yeah, we finally did here, and it looks like, you know, McIntosh able, like Dave was saying, able to bring this car out into the front of the pack, and just, wow, is he flying out there.
Well, Riley Siebert further on back has got around Jesse Webb, and so Riley has cracked the top 5, but Riley about half a track behind Sean McIntosh, who is so far putting on a clinic in the 24 car, and he is G-O-N-E gone as they work their way off of turn number 4. Looks like Cameron Haley trying to take a peek to the inside of the 66 of Jamie Krizik for the 3rd position. Haley getting held up with the lapper of Ken Mostowich as they work their way off at turn number 2 down the back straight. But Sean McIntosh clicking off laps at the front of the pack as Jamie Krizik and Cameron Haley having a battle back in 3rd. Haley and Krizik entering 1 and 2 as McIntosh is out to a straightaway advantage over Noel Dowler in the 35 car, continuing to pull away
And these guys, Cole, are going to be hoping that they do see another caution to maybe get a little bit of track position back. The 24 car, man, he's looking me look like a smart guy, David.
Yeah, he is. You picked him, and I will go ahead and tip my cap to you, but there still is over half a race to go. Come on.
Oh, piece of cake. Piece of cake. Yeah, clear. I'm spotting for him. You didn't know that, did you?
There you go.
Yeah, great race here tonight, and what's turned into a beautiful night. It's got to be a premium night for these race cars. They got to feel comfortable, Cole, in these cars right now. It's the right temperature, track is right. Man, they're getting after it. We're getting to see a nice long green flag run.
Well, it is nice and cool, and the track temp has to be pretty good for these guys. A lot of grip anywhere you want, as the 24 Sean McIntosh has started to find his way to the tail end of lap traffic, but he has quite a cushion over Noel Dowler, as the 24 McIntosh to the inside of Noel's brother Adam Dowler in the 53, who had that mechanical trouble to put him a lap down. And Joe, you're mentioning track position. The 24 of McIntosh almost half a track ahead of second place Noel Dowler. And for some of these guys like Riley Siebert, who had to work his way up through the tail, Riley currently riding around in the 5th position. If he wants to put those tires to use, he's going to need a caution to close up the field, as the 24 of McIntosh is already lapping his way up into the 8th or potentially even the 7th position for the 24 car of Sean McIntosh, who definitely didn't show his cards in that first Twin 100, but is showing them now in the second race here for the 3rd and 4th rounds of the Avion Motorsports RS1 Series Championship Series for the 2022 season, Joe.
I think back to Area 27 and the first event of 2022 for these RS1 Cup cars. And the 24 of McIntosh did it that day as well. He had struggles in the first race. Now tonight, in the first 100, he ended up with the top 3 finishing position. Not like race number 1 at the beginning of the year, but race number 2 at Area 27. I'll tell you what, the 24 car was the class of the field in that second race.
And McIntosh is coming up to lap Trevor Siebert in the 69 car, as the field's kind of strung itself out in single file formation. No real battles at the moment, but Riley Siebert, the closest thing to having a battle at the moment, is closing in on the number 16 of Cameron Haley, as Sean McIntosh is right up to the back bumper of the number 69 of Riley Siebert, or rather Trevor Siebert, now to the inside of Trevor to put him a lap down, and we'll close up in on Jesse Webb, the next driver, to go a lap down in the 64, rather the 64 of Billy Coles and the 94 of Jesse Webb, as Sean McIntosh putting on a clinic here in the second race, and oh, we got ourselves a yellow. Billy Coles, the 64 car, spins in 1 and 2. And on lap 51, not what Sean McIntosh wanted to see, but what the rest of the field wanted to see, the yellow flag comes out, and McIntosh's lead is going to be erased here on lap 51.
Yeah, but that's okay, says Sean on the radio. He needed to let his tires cool down. The field's going to pull back in. The 16 of Cameron Haley back in that 4th spot, guys. It's going to be interesting. That exhaust was crushed in. I believe they opened it up. They had to have. Otherwise, the 16 would be on the infield. The 09 of Riley Siebert, he struggled in race number 1. That car's looking really good. As much as the 24 car picked up, let's see if the 09 can do that with 49 laps left to go.
And right as the yellow came out, Riley was knocking on the back door of Cameron Haley in the 16 car, but Siebert tucked in line now on the inside of row number 3 as the pace car pulls in, and Sean McIntosh, who's been in the outside of the front row for all the previous restarts, now has a shot at leading the field back to the green as they come off at turn number 4. And we're racing once more, just past the halfway point. 51 laps completed, and Noel Dowler sticking right with the number 24 McIntosh. Looked like it twitched a little bit on corner entry and went up the hill just a tiny bit, as they will drag race into 3 and 4. Dowler sticking right with McIntosh as Krizik on the inside of the 16 of Cameron Haley for the 3rd spot, but 2 rows deep, 2 by 2 at the front of the pack, and Riley Siebert's going to look for a way to get around both of them as they work their way into 3, once again coming off of 4. And Joe, they are still side by side for the lead. Noel Dowler not holding anything in the tank and really getting racy with the 24.
As Dave predicted, and Todd said, that outside lane will come in if they can get some rubber on it. Guys, I believe we're getting side by side. We got some rubber on the outside.
Got some rubber and some heat too, and after the cooler tires, thanks to the cool down of the caution, you're going to go ahead and be able to get a little more grippy, I would think, too.
And finally, Sean McIntosh got a good run coming off at turn number 2. He takes the lead as Riley Siebert getting around Cameron Haley and trying to go 2 for 1, go around the outside of Jamie Krizik. So with the 09 car, Riley Siebert is up into the 3rd spot and will now try and get around Noel Dowler. And Sean McIntosh better turn the wick up pretty quick here in that 24 car, because don't look now, Siebert's coming.
You're correct. 56 laps complete as they flash down the backstretch here at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. Back to the line, 57 laps complete. The 24 car has the lead, but hey, here comes the 09. He's in 2nd.
Al Liebert warned me earlier when there was practice laps going out here. They says, you want to see the reference point for how fast the car can go out here? You watch that 09 of Riley Siebert's. You know what? I think I'm a believer at this point. Man, he worked his way through that pack. He certainly has the edge on every other car out here right now in that 09.
We've seen this story before, Cole. A different type of car at a different racetrack. Of course, I'm talking about the Western Rattler 300. We watched Riley Siebert that night go from the back to the front to the back and back to the front, winning the biggest race of his career. He's putting on a show here tonight.
And where Riley gets him, we got a yellow flag, and it is the 64 of Billy Coles. Fortunately, his 3rd incident, and Billy's run of bad luck again. I think we mentioned Nick Jewell, if he had no luck at all, you know, or he might be better off if he had no luck at all. I think Billy Coles, unfortunately, falling in that category as well with the 64, spinning out going into turn number 1.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there too, I think, with the 53 of Adam Dowler as well.
Well, here we go for the restart. Yet another restart. Back racing. Sean McIntosh, Riley Siebert, dead even into 1 and 2. Siebert on the outside. McIntosh trying to run him up the hill just a tiny bit. And actually, Siebert got way out by the outside wall, and that's going to allow Noel Dowler to come right back up the inside of the 09 car as McIntosh leads the way.
Yeah, you want to get these cars wound up, but I don't know. The 09 car just may have made those right side tires just a tick angry. He may have to run right where he is for a little bit, cool him off, and then take that charge at the 24 as Riley Siebert now does get 2nd spot away from the 35 of Noel Dowler. Still the 24 of McIntosh out front, coming back to the line, 62 complete.
24 car, Sean McIntosh trying to pull away from Siebert, and Siebert now looks like the car is starting to come to him just a tiny bit. McIntosh, as I mentioned, better off at 2, but Siebert able to close on braking into 3 and off of 4. So McIntosh better at one end of the racetrack, Siebert better at the other, and it continues with a seesaw gap that goes between 2 car lengths down as close to 1, and then back out to 3 car lengths between your race leaders as Noel Dowler now has Jamie Krizik looking to his inside for the 3rd position. Krizik in the 66 getting racy with the 35 machine as problems for the number 94 car. Jesse Webb is pulling into the pits after a strong run early for the rookie driver in the RS1 series in the 94.
The 24 of McIntosh doing a great job, still able to pin the 24 machine right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Guys, I'm noticing the 09 of Riley Siebert on the exit of turn 2. Have a look at him on the way by this time. You can see him push right out to the wall, and it seems like the car is really free coming off, but he's good down in 3-4.
He is, and that is where he's able to kind of hang with the 24 of Sean McIntosh, but McIntosh better at both ends, and we're slowly starting to see that pay dividends in the 24 car as he has gone from having a 2-car length lead to about a 4-car length lead. We got a big mess going into turn number 3, and Billy Coles just dive-bombed to the inside of the 53 of Adam Dowler, who made contact with him, sideswiped him, took out Dowler and the 50, or rather the 69 of Trevor Siebert. And when you're the owner of this series, I don't think Trevor's going to be too happy with that one.
Well, that's okay. He'll get over it. Billy's getting his money's worth out there tonight in the 64 car. It's unfortunate that, 3 wide is possible here, but it just got a little bit tight coming off, or pardon me, on the way into turn number 3. And you get 2 cars that spin around. But we're 67 laps complete here tonight in the second Twin 100, all presented by Avion Motorsports. Want to know more about the RS1 Super Series, the Cup Series, or the Challenge Series? Simple to do. Just get to avionmotorsports.com, and all the information is there. These cars are all maintained by Avion Motorsports. At the end of this day, these drivers are going to get out, park the car on pit road, grab their helmet, celebrate the night they've had, and they don't even have to touch the car. They get loaded, they're taken care of, and I'll tell you what, the next race out for these cars, they're going to look brand new once again. Avion Motorsports does an amazing job with this tour, and you'll see. This is quite a race to see. 67 laps complete. The lights are out on top of that Avion Motorsports Camaro. It's going to come down pit road, and look out. Thunder. And I'm kind of thinking, Dave, we're going to go green from here to the end.
All right, I'll hold you to that perhaps, but I just love the competitive nature of these drivers. Nothing is given up, not even an inch on this track.
Here we go, back racing off of turn number 4, and Riley Siebert has another shot at Sean McIntosh. McIntosh unable to run Siebert up the hill a little bit, and Siebert's going to have the run as they drag race into 3 and 4, but McIntosh working hard on that inside, and Siebert's car not liking the outside lane of the 09 machine as he is having to pedal hard. They are swapping paint through 1 and 2. Down the back straight, still side by side for the lead. Krizik in the 66 is up to 3rd. The 16 machine, Cameron Haley to the inside of Adam Dowler, is Siebert trying to edge ahead on the outside of the 24 of McIntosh. And Joe, we have a new race leader off at turn number 2.
Yes, we do. The 09 car of Riley Siebert has got that Super Seal machine out front as we come to the line with 30 circuits left to go. Sean McIntosh in the 24 car is back into the 2nd spot. Krizik in the 66 is 3rd. Noel Dowler in the 35 is 4th. And Cameron Haley, top 5 right now with 29 laps left to go.
And it looks like McIntosh's car isn't taking off quite as good as it did on the previous restarts, and Siebert is now able to extend his lead to about 4 car lengths in the 09 car, but McIntosh, maybe as the run goes on, will hopefully be able to close in and make this a closer race in that 24 machine as the 66 of Krizik starting to fall back a little bit from McIntosh as McIntosh trying to turn up the wick and catch up with your race leader Riley Siebert in the 09. Oh, spinner on the back straight. The number 12 car, Elisa Alexis, is spun the number 12 machine, and the yellow flag will fly. Lights are out once again on the Avion Motorsports pace car, which has been getting a workout here in this Twin 100 race number 2. It will pull into the pits, and Riley Siebert will have his chance to control the field. First time he's been out front on a restart here all evening long as they come off at turn number 4. And we're green once again. McIntosh sticking with them on the outside as they work their way into 1 and 2. But Siebert will be clear of McIntosh, and Krizik now coming up the inside of the 24 car as they work their way into 3 and 4. And that will allow Siebert to hopefully pull out a little bit more of a cushion in the 09.
Side by side for the 2nd and 3rd, 4th spot. these drivers got to settle that. The 09 car will check out as Krizik ends up with the second slot right now. Move the 24 back to the third location. The 16 of Cameron Haley is in the fourth spot, and he is being hounded right now by Billy Cole in that 64 car.
Yes, and Billy inside of the top 5, even with all those problems that he has had in the 64 machine, up on the wheel. And just like we saw the Western Rattler 100 and the Venom 100, the driver of car number 64 got sent to the back, to the front, to the back. And again, managing to work his way up to the front. He is a wheel man when the pressure is on in that 64 machine.
I thought you were playing on numbers, but you're right. I remember that.
Yeah, he had quite the performance there during the Street Stock Invitational in his own number 67. Out in front, Riley Siebert is almost out to a full straightaway advantage, and now Sean McIntosh will get back around the 66 of Jamie Krizik, and Krizik has been sneaking around that 24 car on more than one restart occasion here this evening. And now McIntosh will have a lot of work to do here with 78 laps completed up on the Sutherland Automotive Speedway scoreboard as Siebert is pulled out to almost a full straightaway advantage, Joe.
You know, Dave, remember I said the 24 car wouldn't want to see a caution? How much you want to bet he's praying for one just about now?
Yeah, probably there as Riley Siebert got off to a terrific start. And you guys were talking about how his car has been a little loose coming off 1 and 2. I thought he was going to be okay staying on the inside for one reason and one reason only. That's because he could use McIntosh as a bumper on the outside.
And Sean McIntosh is getting up on the wheel here, trying to track down Siebert. As again, the long run coming into play here is McIntosh is pulling away from Krizik and starting to close in on the 09. Riley Siebert not as pronounced, rather loose coming off of turn number 2. The car looks a little bit more stable now, but we'll see if we get a longer run with Siebert's car. The back end starts stepping out on it, and if the 24 of Sean McIntosh can start closing in as Siebert closes in on some lap traffic.
Everybody's got racing room now. Everybody's got their spot on the racetrack. I don't know if you're going to see any big gains unless we do get a caution. 83 laps complete right now, and whoo, Cameron Haley just got a shot in the shorts by the 35 car and pushed the 16 up. Cameron would have went, gee, that's a couple times I got that. He's learning lots about RS1 right now.
He's had the chrome horn once or twice, and I know Cameron was a little bit concerned after that spin that he had thanks to a lap car in the first race about the condition of his right rear tire, and I think it might have got a little bit abused there with that spin, and it's unfortunately not paying off for him and showing its hand in the second Twin 100 as that car is starting to look pretty evil in the handling department for the 16 machine. Up in front, 09 of Riley Siebert still pacing the field out to about a half straightaway advantage, but Sean McIntosh has been slowly starting to chip away at that lead, but coming up on 10 to go might be a little case, or rather a case of too little too late for the driver of that 24 car, but he is giving it his all as Riley Siebert is closing in on lap traffic. Jack Herniuk in the 01 set to go a lap down as they come off of turn number 4, and Riley will have to try and pick his way through the lappers in the 09 as the 24 is Sean McIntosh is right there as well, and Siebert getting to the inside of Herniuk, a little bit of hesitation allowing McIntosh to close in just a tiny bit as Jamie Krizik, the 66, still sits in third. Billy Cole's trying to track him down in the 64 car. This time by, it'll be 10 laps to go for Riley Siebert in the Super Seal 09 as he sets his sights on Ken Mostowich, put him a lap down in the 99, Joe.
Now he got a little bit loose coming off turn 4 that time in the 09 car, but no harm, no foul. The 24 car still got to be 10, maybe 12 car lengths back, maybe not that far, maybe 10. But the 24 of McIntosh still running his race with only 9 circuits left to go here tonight at Sutherland Automotive Speedway. And you know what? This has been an entertaining race. I know they're spread out a bit right now, but man, oh man, have these guys put on a show here today.
It has had its moments for sure of great racing action here on the prairies and the bank track of Sutherland Automotive Speedway with its progressive banking, as Sean McIntosh getting held up a little bit by lap traffic, and unfortunately for Sean, that has allowed the 09 of Riley Siebert to open back up that lead in the 09 car. 93 laps completed for Siebert, coming up on 94 to go, 6 laps remaining for race leader Riley Siebert, and those fresher tires by about 50 laps are paying off here in the long run, just as we knew they would.
Cameron Haley is back a little bit in the field here. He's hanging on by his fingernails with just, 5 laps left to go at the line this time. And the 09 Super Seal Chevrolet of Riley Siebert having a great run here in race number 2. He struggled race number 1, not so in race number 2, as he flashes past the line, the 24 of McIntosh, the 69 car of Trevor Siebert, right up there.
Siebert actually getting put a lap down, oddly enough, in the 69, so Trevor not quite having the night that he would want. But Riley Siebert salvaging his night in a big way with a strong run here in race number 2, and just 2 laps remaining for the 09 car as he comes off at turn number 4.
And this is where, inside that 09 car, you're leading the race, you're hearing things you haven't heard all night long. You're thinking, come on, I gotta go another lap and a half here. Things going real good for the 09 right now, as he drops it right down to the bottom of the racetrack. White flag in the air, down into turn number 1 and 2. Cole, bring us on home, buddy.
Down the back chute for the final time. Straightaway advantage for Siebert into 3, no dramas. And the checkered flag is in the air for the winner of the second Twin 100, Riley Siebert from Williams Lake, now living in Penticton. The 24, Sean McIntosh in second. Drag race to the line. Billy Coles on the last lap is going to get the 3rd spot over Jamie Krizik in the 66, and Coles salvaging his night in a big way with a 3rd place run.
I'll tell you what, Jamie Krizik's gonna go and ask Billy Cole, what was that? He was all over him coming off the turn. Quite a run for not only the 66, the 64. How about the run for the 24 car? Just an amazing job, as well as, of course, our 09, the winner.
And Riley Siebert completing those victory donuts in the 09 machine, pulling into victory lane. Nose to nose with the 24th Sean McIntosh, who brings home a 2nd place run to go with his 3rd place run in the first of the 2 Twin 100s, as Riley Siebert will get the window net down in victory lane. Todd standing by with the commemorative flag, and they're going to give him the Super Seal check.
As the 09 jumps out of the car, Todd, take it down to you.
All right, Riley Siebert, I was warned by L. Liebert as practice laps were going on tonight. They said, if you want to see who can set fast laps out here in this track, watch Riley Siebert. Well, the second half certainly went better than the first. This car was on rails for the second half. You walk by this pack, and wow, that was one incredible win for you out there.
I tell you what, it didn't feel like a walk. No, I actually didn't think I had anything for Sean there, and about the 3/4 pace there, or 3/4 way through the race, and I just made some in-car adjustments. Really, all you can do is change the brake bias and change my lineup a little bit, and it seemed to work. And then, he got me on a couple of restarts, and it's been a long time since Sean's been an oval driver. He's obviously been with us, but he used to race quarter midgets many years ago, and I played a little dirty pool with him and hugged him to the bottom and held him there with the car and used the door to hold him there. And when you do that, you choke off the throttle and the guy can't get off the corner, and that's short track racing, but and that's the only way you can make the outside work. And so, you have to do what you have to do to get that big check, and that's what I wanted. The first one got away from me with the fuel starvation problem in the car, and that put me in a mood, to say the least, and I had visor down and all eyes forward on that one.
Well, again, congratulations on that. And like I says, wow, that was awesome to watch.
Yeah, thanks for the fans that came out, and thanks for the ones that stuck around through the rainstorm, and thanks to the Avion Motorsports, the entire team that works at Avion there for getting these cars ready. I know they've always got to work their butts off to get these things going, and yeah, I had a lot of fun again today.
Well, it took a little bit of extra time to get it going, but once it did get going, we had 2 great races. Great action, great passing going on, and congratulations to Riley Siebert bringing home the win in the second Twin 100, as well as the winner in the first 100, Noel Dowler, getting his first RS1 Series win. So a lot of great action here this weekend, Joe, and hopefully we can come back out to Saskatoon next year with the RS1 Series.
Oh, man, I would look forward to the day. Dave, what do you think? Final thoughts in this one here?
You know, the series coming into Saskatoon was billed as the cars all being alike, and it was the driver's skill that would be on display, and I think that we saw that in both of the 100s, whether it was changing track conditions, whether it was tire conditions, whether it was going ahead and finding that perfect time to make your move, no matter where or when it was on the track. It all seemed to pay off, and we got a great display of driving here tonight.
That's it for us tonight here on the prairies. Sure hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we look forward to catching you the next time on Racetime Radio. Tune in Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, live on Sirius XM, Channel 167. Good night, everybody.